Have you ever met someone who completely downplays their birthday? No celebration, no cake, not even a thank you when people wish them well. Maybe that person is you. But here's what's fascinating. Psychologists say that how you treat your birthday reveals a lot about how you see yourself, your past, and even your emotional wiring. In fact, studies showed that personal milestones like birthdays activate the same brain regions linked to self-reflection and identity formation. So when you ignore your own birthday, your brain is actually sending a message, one you might not even realize you're writing. I used to be that person. I'd brush off my birthday, tell everyone it's just another day, and feel strangely uncomfortable when others tried to celebrate me. But over time, I started to wonder, why did it feel easier to celebrate other people than myself? When I started diving into the psychology behind it, I uncovered some deep truths about self-worth, emotional defense mechanisms, and even how we manage time and meaning. And once I understood it, something in me shifted. In this video, you'll discover the hidden psychology of people who treat their birthday like a normal day. You'll learn why this behavior might come from something deeper than "I just don't care," how it connects to emotional patterns and personality types, and what it reveals about your relationship with time, attention, and self-compassion. Most importantly, you walk away with tools to understand yourself better and maybe even start seeing your next birthday differently.
Here's a truth most people miss. Saying, "It's just another day," is rarely neutral. It's often emotional armor. Think about it. When you minimize something that's about you, you're not removing meaning. You're protecting yourself from it. Psychologist Brené Brown calls this foreboding joy, the act of downplaying happiness to avoid disappointment. When you expect nothing, you can't be let down. But here's the paradox. By numbing the lows, you also numb the highs. A 2011 study published in Personality and Individual Differences found that people who suppress emotional significance in personal events experience lower levels of life satisfaction overall. Why? Because celebration isn't vanity, it's validation. It's your subconscious saying, "I matter." So the next time you feel the urge to say, "It's just another day," ask yourself, are you being humble or are you hiding? Another hidden reason people ignore their birthdays is simple: fear of unmet expectations. Imagine this. You plan nothing because you don't want to be disappointed if others forget. It's a form of emotional self-protection called defensive pessimism. Psychologist Julie Norham coined the term to describe people who lower their expectations to prepare for the worst. It's smart in some ways, but costly in others. Because while you protect yourself from disappointment, you also block yourself from connection. Humans are wired for recognition. According to social psychologist Roy Baumeister, our sense of belonging and significance is one of our strongest psychological needs. When you refuse to celebrate your birthday, you deny others the chance to make you feel valued. You cut off a moment of shared humanity. So if you've been playing small to avoid being forgotten, maybe it's time to rewrite that story. Instead of asking, "What if no one remembers?" try, "What if I let people show they care?"
Here's where it gets deeper. How you treat your birthday mirrors how you treat yourself. If you consistently downplay your own milestones, achievements, or needs, it might be rooted in low self-worth. You might not feel worthy of attention or joy. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people with lower self-esteem actually avoid situations where they might receive praise because it feels emotionally unsafe. Think about that. It's not indifference, it's discomfort with being seen. Birthdays expose this truth. When people wish you well, it forces you to be the center of attention, even briefly. And if that spotlight feels heavy instead of warm, it's not about the day. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. So the next time someone wishes you happy birthday, practice receiving it. Not just hearing it,
receiving it. It's not ego, it's emotional growth. Now, some people say, I just don't like materialistic celebrations. I don't need parties. And that's fair. But sometimes what looks like minimalism is actually emotional detachment in disguise. Our culture glorifies being low maintenance, but psychologists warn that when you constantly detach from emotional moments, you weaken your ability to feel joy and connection. It's like muting the soundtrack of your own life. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman often talks about neuroplastic celebration, the act of deliberately rewarding yourself to reinforce motivation pathways in the brain. In simple terms, when you allow yourself to celebrate, even small things, you're training your brain to see progress as meaningful. Ignoring your birthday doesn't make you strong, it just keeps your reward system silent. So celebrate in your own way. Not with a party maybe, but with a moment of presence. A walk, a reflection, a small ritual that says, I'm here and I've grown.
Here's something few people consider. Treating your birthday like a normal day can reflect your relationship with time. Some people ignore birthdays because they don't want to confront the passage of time, the idea of aging, missed goals, or fading possibilities. A 2018 study in Psychology and Aging showed that individuals who avoid thinking about their birthdays often associate aging with loss rather than growth. It's not that they dislike the day, they dislike the reminder. But here's where perspective changes everything. What if a birthday isn't a countdown, but a checkpoint? A quiet pause where you get to ask, am I living intentionally? Your age isn't your enemy, it's your evidence. Every candle on the cake is proof you're still in the game. So, instead of counting years, count lessons. Because the truth is, time isn't slipping away, it's solidifying who you've become. At the heart of it all, the psychology of ignoring your birthday often leads to one hidden theme: resistance to self-acceptance. When you can't comfortably acknowledge your own life, you're often carrying unprocessed emotions, regret, guilt, or perfectionism. You might subconsciously believe you don't deserve celebration until you've become someone better. But life doesn't wait for perfection. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." Your birthday is the perfect day to practice that paradox, to pause, accept, and affirm that you're enough as you are, in progress and imperfection alike. So maybe the real celebration isn't about cake or candles. It's about self-compassion.
Let's take a step back. You've learned that treating your birthday like a normal day isn't just a quirk. It can reflect emotional defense, fear of disappointment, low self-worth, avoidance of time, or even hidden perfectionism. But once you understand these patterns, you can rewrite them. You can choose to celebrate, not because life is perfect, but because it's yours. So when your next birthday comes around, don't just let it pass like any other day. Light that candle, even if it's just one. Take a deep breath and whisper a quiet thank you for surviving, learning, and becoming. Because the real gift isn't the party, it's presence. As the poet Mary Oliver once asked, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Which part of this message hit you most? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you want to keep exploring how psychology shapes the way you live, think, and grow, subscribe to Think Smarter today. Not someday, not later, now.